I don't know if we are waiting for anybody else then.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have anything else on our agenda. So
Okay.
it's all you.
All right. Well, I will pass around. I'll pass around my cards if you don't mind. I'll have a couple of those down there. Well, just so I don't forget when we're finishing, but thanks for having me tonight. And I'm Morgan Wade. I'm our Capital and Strategic Planning Administrator. And I'd like to get a little bit of information just for each of you and what areas you represent. I was supposed to have Mike Musser. Actually, the reason that we were pushing from September or whatever date we picked was because we had just gotten a new assistant director for operations and maintenance. He's been in our golf section as an administrator for the last 12 years. He was an assistant director over recreation and a lot of other programming in Gahanna before that. So he brings a lot of experience to that role. He's in surgery, so and I was like, well, I'm not going to push this again. I have all the information from him and his team, so I'll flip back and forth between the capital and that maintenance hat. But I know he would be happy to come at another time and meet everybody too. Do you mind if we just do a quick round the room of who we have here?
Ted Welch, I'm the Edgewood Civic Organization president.
I'm Kathy Green. I hold the business at large seat on the Area Commission. I'm the vice chair.
Okay.
Justin Soltez, I'm the resident at large commissioner and I'm the public services chair.
Okay. I know this. I know this troublemaker.
I'm Cassandra Patterson, and I am a resident of Ennis Gardens.
Johnny Davis, Reposac, Stilton Village.
Okay. All right. Great. So we can. I realized after finished making the slides, should we close that? Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 37 slides because there were quite a few parks. So I will, if I go too fast through any of these, pause me and we can talk about them in more detail. And I printed some slides. Sometimes people start reading through, so I'm happy to hand these out. I can give these to you after as well. And I also have our maintenance team's notes that I can send you, Justin, if you want to distribute, because they're a little bit more detailed. But I figured what we should do tonight is go through, you all did the audits back in July for each park. We'll go just down park by park, go through the maintenance and the capital requests, our comments on them so far. Also want to touch on completed projects because I think that was it was a powerful tool to do this in 2019 and come up with the first list. And so I want to make sure we touch on everything that we did do that was based on those audits. And then we can, at the end, hopefully, if we have time, or we can come back to this, prioritize from the capital items that you've put through the list. We can kind of prioritize what you think are the most important. I'll say back when you did the audits in 2019, the department didn't have to give such detail in their 6-year budget when we would submit, and so we had the ability to plug things in a little bit more. And now we're at a stage where it's pretty detailed because post-COVID, the projects are more expensive, everything seems larger, it's just the money doesn't seem to be going so far. So, but I think the good thing about these is none of these are major projects to try to fit in. But I'll just say that that 6-year is a lot tighter than it had been because that was an incredible amount of projects we were able to find funding to fit in for.
Can you talk very briefly about what falls under operational expenses versus capital
Sure.
expenses and where you draw the line?
Generally, if it is something that is over $6,000, like as a unit, and it totally replaces an asset, or it is like a full enough renovation to preserve the life of an asset, that's what we consider capital eligible. Also, like it on its own, the component has over a 6-year life cycle. We've been having a lot of pushback in this past two years or so on things being capital eligible. So we used to be able to buy like lighting for a gym, for example, and then have our team internally install the lighting. Well, now it's not capital eligible unless we buy the lighting for the entire facility all at once and have the team do it. So it's like, because it's the full replacement instead of, so it's really been, it's taken a hit on our operating budget to the tune of like $2 million a year. Yeah.
Why is it set up so that, rather than doing, I want to say zones, why do we have to do the full thing if it's not necessary? That sounds like it's a waste of time, energy, and money if you're going in and
Yeah.
replacing something that is not quite yet eligible due to deterioration
Yeah.
or other.
It's a total waste. I mean, it's
Right.
not a city code thing. It's an Ohio, it's the auditor's office interpretation of Ohio revised code. And so, for example, we have an elevator that's in our cultural arts center. There's an elevator that's broken that we could replace the full elevator, but we don't need to replace the full elevator. We could pay about $60,000 to do almost like a complete refurbishment of the elevator, but the asset is the cultural arts building. And so unless we're replacing the full elevator, these expenses end up being operating. So it's like a $65,000 hit to our operating budget. It's gotten tighter. I think the auditor's office has been, what they told us is like the state has gotten some software that makes the state audit of our spending tighter. And I'm blaming it on AI.
I'm gonna blame it on the government, you know.
Yeah, it is.
They're
I mean,
spending
yeah.
they're forcing us to spend money that's not necessarily necessary to spend.
Yeah, it's been really difficult. I mean, we usually do a site furnishing contract, and I'm saying the reason I'm giving this detail is because many of the requests that you're making are like 2 picnic tables here or a bench, and we used to do every year a site furnishing contract for $200,000, and we would take all requests from a variety of communities and say maybe 13 parks. They each get 2 to 3 benches and picnic tables, and that has been deemed as an operating expense. Unless we have a large park renovation project that this is fitting into there, that is now an operating expense. Or like we're replacing every table in the park. I mean, it's really difficult. This has been about 2 years we've been having this. I'm hoping that it
Is that state
goes-
mandated?
It's state mandated, but it's our own auditor's office that feels the pressure to be more of an enforcer now on that. I mean, I think it's just an interpretation. Well, that's just my opinion, that it's an interpretation, but it's a difficult one.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I have more questions, but I think we should
Yeah.
let you
Yeah, sure.
present, and then I'll hold some.
So-
we have time at the end.
General requests were mileage markers on the walking pads, bike racks in the parks that don't have them. Those are easy fixes. The bike racks, generally, if we're coming into the park and we see that it doesn't have, or it has an old style of bike rack, we'll handle the replacement then. And you had put in the comments of like an ODOT, here's the standard U-shaped. That's what we've moved to, and
Okay.
public service, that we use the same one as they do now.
Yeah, some of the parks have all sorts of different types of
Yeah,
bike racks.
yes, yeah.
A bike rack's a bike rack, as long as it holds the bike.
It's true, some are better than others.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
So we'll start with Kobacher Park. I've kind of put these in the order of, I think that we'll have more comment on Deschler and Lincoln and Carnes. So I've put those at the end. I've thought these were some easier ones to talk about first. So Kobacher Park, we have completed the capital project since 2019. We've had the playground replacement, basketball court replacement, and the fence repair. For the maintenance requests, you had asked about the removing the hand sanitizer station, which wasn't being maintained since post-COVID, and the dog poop bag station. It's gotta be a better term for these. And we will remove the hand sanitizer, our maintenance team said, yes, they'll remove the hand sanitizer station. They'll assess for the pump stations. We just get a limited supply of the pump stations. We get them from public utilities, and so they'll assess the need for it, but they said they'll do an inspection and assess. As far as capital requests, we had to add four top, and I wanted to understand what that meant. Was it 4 game tables with the chess and checker imprints, or was it 4 top
Like the four chairs.
4 chairs, okay, all right, yeah.
The reason, so Kobacher's the closest park to Parsons, which is more of a business park.
Yeah.
It's also, frankly, become a bit of a homeless place.
Okay.
The idea was, of all the parks, it's probably the least used by residents. And maybe kind of looking at it as a little more of an adult-oriented park than a child-oriented park might make sense. And so the game tables was specifically the idea that, instead of setting up a card table in the middle of the sidewalk, which has been done, so somebody can play chess or chess, they could there. And do you have a policy on homeless camps in public parks?
We do. It's just the city's policy in general. So we work with I think it's
Marcus, yeah, Johnson.
and that team, and so it's all through them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like, you can let us know though. I mean, it's important for us to be aware so that we can be having that outreach.
Yeah, it's
sure.
challenging because there's nowhere for people to go.
Right. Yeah.
So like it's whack-a-mole,
Right. Then we have Martin Park, the maintenance request, it just had maintenance requests. Remove the hand sanitizer station, weeds in the playground, improve the mowing and trash removal frequency. This was just a side note to that the adjacent resident indicated maintenance has declined for the past 2 years in overflowing trash cans and tall grass. Yes, we would need to coordinate with code enforcement on the vacant lot.
I did open a
Oh, did you?
311 ticket on
Okay.
it. And this is Southern Orchard's neighborhood, and Donna Hughes mentioned that I think they had volunteers that helped spread the mulch originally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another topic we can shelve to the end, but like,
Okay.
is there volunteers, is there donations, some of those kinds of things.
We can, we do have volunteer groups. A lot of times it's the corporate groups that do the spreading the mulch. That's like one of their big activities. This team had said, yes, we'll remove the hand sanitizer station and we'll remove the weeds in the playground and we'll add mulch. So may not need this round, volunteers to help on that, but what we generally do is our maintenance team gives to Betty Bluckinger. You might have worked with her in the past. She's our volunteer coordinator. They give her a list every quarter. These are probably not a winter, but otherwise quarter, to say these are the ones that are the most in need of mulch wood chips that we can't get to. So, but yeah, they said they'll take care of the weeds and mulch it. They didn't actually comment on just the main, but they've seen this though, so that's good.
This park I don't think almost any of us knew existed. I think it's one of the
Oh,
newest
really?
parks.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
the trees are along the road, and so like, I don't know, just everybody was
Just
like,
go
oh,
past.
there's a park.
Yeah, the trees kind of completely block the park from
Yeah.
the street.
It has a nice playground
Mhm.
too. Yeah.
That's a nice view, you know,
To get to see it this way.
right,
Yeah.
from the top like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that pattern when we were
Mhm.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's small, but it's pretty nice.
Mhm.
And I can look into relocating the park sign.
You see where it is? It's right there in the middle of the trees, basically.
Right. Oh, you're not. You know. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's behind all the trees.
Yeah. And that's because this is all right of way up here.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe there's a side entrance sign that we could do. We're just revising our sign standards so that it's not like a heavy main park sign or nothing. So you could do a sign at one of the other entrances that's a slightly smaller, looks more like a park rules sign, but it is
Mhm.
a park entry sign. No, I can't get them all set here. Okay. Millbrook Park, we did the playground replacement just a few years ago. We also did the parking lot and the basketball court resurfacing, and then came back and did the basketball goal replacement too. You had noted overgrown weeds and down branches along the rear fence lines of the park. Our maintenance team said they'll get out there to look at clearing that fence line in the winter when
Mhm.
as the leaves.
That was
fall.
brought up to me a number of times, that
Oh, yeah.
that is, I don't wanna say dangerous, but it hides a lot of,
Bad behavior.
debris and or animals and or, if someone was almost can't try and get behind there.
Mhm.
So, that's, I mean,
Yeah,
safety is probably the largest concern with a lot of these parks.
Mhm.
Is there a time frame, like, you say over the winter, this is Joanne McWhorter's, right?
Mhm.
Closest park, like if somebody checked at, let's say, the end of February or middle of March and then had a follow-up questions, is that, I'm just trying to set some expectation.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable. I definitely think that seems reasonable. The parks maintenance team, in early November, one of the things they're doing is they continue their parks work, but as the mowing season stops, then they have to do the docks. And then they bring all of the trash cans in that are like the movable kind and do the repainting of those. Like they have those kind of annual maintenance things that they do for the first couple weeks, but I would think that once it's really cold and the leaves are falling, that's when they would go out. February seems like a very safe time to check back in. Yeah. And then the capital requests from Millbrook were a tall fence between the basketball court and the parking lot. That makes a lot of sense to me. I don't think we have any fence at that basketball court that I can remember.
No, I don't think there was any.
Yeah. And a possible grill near the picnic tables, possible additional light and sidewalk improvements. So when you wrote the possible or the potential, was there a concern? Was there like
I mean,
on the fence?
we were there during the day,
Uh-huh.
so we weren't sure how the lighting was, but it looked like there might be a need for another light or two.
Okay.
There was also some coals that had been dumped in the grass.
Okay.
So someone had brought a grill
Yeah.
and then dumped their hot coals
Okay,
onto the grass, so it's like, well, that's not a great
yeah,
situation.
But obviously it means people are grilling there,
using it,
so
yeah.
it seemed like a nice possible
Yeah.
addition.
I think it's possible, is like, we just don't know what's
Yeah.
Yeah.
reasonable. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not trying to be,
I think that's other than this fact of, can we find a way to slide it into something capital? That's really, with every one of these requests, that's probably the main.
Is there a maintenance budget that some of this could be slid into?
No, our department, I mean, I think as a whole, the city was asked, every department was asked to cut their budgets by their operating, like 20%. But our maintenance budget, like, we lost all our vacancies, we had to cut $12 million from our operating budget. So it isn't, so we would try to fit it into like the maintenance budget. Usually they do cover fence repairs, they'll cover, yeah, I mean, they'll do a table here or a table there. It'll just be, yeah, can they fit it? Or do we have to wait until we get a bit of a like infusion of, in the 2026 budget, we've asked for about $700,000 of money for what we're calling capital conversion, like specifically these things that used to be capital that are no longer eligible. So we've asked for that operating.
So when we're talking
request.
about capital and I would imagine repairs to pavilions and so forth come under that.
It just depends on the type of repair.
Well, the closest park to me would be Carnes Park.
Yeah.
And they did some extensive painting and repairs there because of vandalism.
Yeah.
Some of the residents have said it would be best just to remove that pavilion, because they're tearing down the columns
Those
that
yeah.
that are there.
Yeah.
The graffiti and the damage inside the pavilion.
Mhm.
There was a guy out there that's from the parks and repairs, and he spent a couple of days just trying to repair and clean up
Yeah.
that damage.
let's hold that till we get to cards. I think that's
Okay.
on the
Sure.
list.
But we're talking about, these things, and I'm just wondering
Yeah.
how we address those,
Yeah.
because we're starting out here with.
And those were operating, like, all of that work is operating budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think these are all reasonable. Once we figure out how to cover them too, I think these are very reasonable requests. And the sidewalk improvements, we do know this, our project manager who does the hard surfaces, he did a pavement conditions rating on it recently, because we were trying to see if we could, on our current hard surface contract, we were trying to see if we could like just get this covered in a little bit of the leftover contingency money. It was, there were other things that had to be addressed and it was gonna be too much, but we now know it and we'll be able to put this in one of the upcoming, like 26 or 27 packages.
Okay.
We have Smith Road Park.
This is Cassandra's
Mm-hmm.
part.
That's why we have the completed capital project. We had the UIF funded projects a few years before I started, and that was the shelter was one of those. And then we had the fence replacement and the playground replacement in the last few years. The maintenance requests for the portable toilets. That our maintenance team said that we do a contract each year with for portable toilets, so they're assessing now if we want to add additional parks to that, where we would most likely include them, and they said they'll take a look at this. My own observation on this one is it just seemed difficult. You can't tell from the picture that I put on here, but it seemed difficult to find a spot because of the fencing now that we could get in so that
Oh,
the
to
truck
dump
could
it.
get in and dump it.
Service
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can take a look, but that was my thought on that one. The capital requests you had were the walking path resurfacing. Oh, I had made a note to myself, the resurfacing, because we just don't really have the budget for like the crack fill and repair like spot, like we would like to do like a preventive maintenance.
Mhm.
So I can add this to our like project request log for future hard surface.
Okay.
To do, and maybe it's not the entire thing that needs done, but it would at least get a actual resurfacing on whatever doesn't handle.
I can't remember how much of it was.
Yeah.
and
I don't think we
just remember
walked the
some
whole
of it
thing.
was
Okay.
Noticeably in bad
Yeah.
shape.
And some of it sits underwater a little bit more, and that might be the part, yeah, up near the playground, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. And yes, that is a problem about the next to the fence, all of that running.
Mhm.
That's, I'm not sure what we can do about it, because it is a DPS
Right.
issue, but we should bring it up again, because it's bad.
Mhm.
And then additional play activities. What kind of things were you thinking?
I wasn't.
You weren't there, right? I mean, there's the playground itself. Oh, I know, it's because there's such a big grassy space. So this is a bigger question in general.
Yeah.
Because even Millbrook has that big grassy space behind it. Like when or why or whatever, right? Lincoln has a lot of grassy
Yeah.
space. You know, when is it that the city might put in like a soccer goal or, you know, some other thing like that? I mean, basketball courts are pretty pricey,
Yeah.
but you know, when you've got a big grassy area, you know, when could, you know, when did you put
When would we
in
do that?
something
Yeah.
like that? Or is it all really dependent on having some kind of coordinated recreation league that requires it, or?
It's always been dependent, it's been a policy. I don't know that, I'm not saying it makes sense, but I'll just say that it's always been a policy that if we have a program there, if we program it, if we have a coordinated rec league or something, then we put soccer goals out, but we don't just in city park, in a park that doesn't have a soccer program running, put those out, because it's just constant vandalism and tearing the nets down and people hanging from them, and then it creates for us a liability. You could say a lot of things create a liability in the park, but that's been like the standard. We're testing. We just redid Maloney Park in, I forget if it's North or South Linden, over near Joyce Avenue. This is the first place we're testing having soccer goals out because of city community requests. Even though it gets programmed for football, it gets programmed for, but yeah, so that might change, and we can keep asking too.
That's all it really
Yeah.
meant. But those places we have big grassy
Yeah.
spaces, is there
It'd
some
be something nice.
something
to-
that could
yeah.
entice kids to play on it?
Yeah.
That picture's good for that, actually.
Yeah. Let's see. Moeller Park. This one only had the, oh no, it hasn't had any, I think we did the concrete pads for planters.
Mhm.
It didn't seem like a large enough thing to put on this, but maintenance requests have been replenish the mulch in the playground. So we did that in October, and replace the missing trash can on the north side of the park. We will replace that. And plant new trees to replace the large tree that fell. And our forestry team said they'll go out and inspect and add trees into one of the future planting contracts. And then there were capital requests about play equipment for ages 2 to 5 and additional picnic tables. So the 2 to 5, so I also was looking at this park, and it seemed like nobody said anything about it, but it just, this is, I think, a 2013 playground, so this would be 10 years from now before we would get into our actual playground replacement, because we were on about a 20-year cycle. Sometimes we're on for Smith Road Park, we were on a 30-year cycle or more. But it almost seems that this could be repositioned, and I didn't take the overlay off of it, or else you would see it better, but has anybody complained about this being, I know there's the fence, but close to the road, or does it, when you're there, do you not really feel like it's so close?
Yeah, I don't think I haven't heard any complaints about that.
I wasn't at that inventory, but it is where they have the Marion Village Festival and things like that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any, I mean, I don't think those streets are, I think
They're not terribly busy.
Okay.
And,
Brock is probably busier than Hanford, I would say.
yeah, Brock and Hanford are busier than Freebus.
Oh, that's what I meant, Freebus isn't that busy,
Yeah.
Hanford's busier, yeah, and Brock.
And there are fences on both of those
Yeah, and
sides, so.
And the playground itself is like kind of pushed away from the fence.
Yeah,
too, so
right
it's-
here, yeah,
I think most children that are there are supervised,
okay,
wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I think
That's
specifically
every
the
time I go
ages
past.
2 to 5 play equipment, we were talking to somebody there, and he said a lot of times the smaller swing set has a line for it.
Oh, okay.
So like there's
Oh,
only 2 of
okay.
those, and so
Yeah.
that was kind of what that
Yeah.
came from.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was also a couple more picnic tables, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because I think there's like 2 or 3 over there.
And then there was the one thing that was on the playground, they said they actually need to be removed and replaced with something else.
Oh yeah, I think there was something on the playground that,
It was more of a hazard than
Yeah.
anything else. I can't remember what it was. Was it the thing you stand up and spin on?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
They still have those?
I don't think it's this thing.
Like the little ones that you just kind of twirl around?
Yeah. Man, for the life of me.
I think it was this thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that thing. That be hit. That's the culprit.
Yeah, it was this thing that he was.
Oh, I love those.
I don't know. That was just what the person there was
Okay,
saying, so.
yeah. Now, we have a very conservatively approached, I mean, not from political, but just our playground, the head of our playgrounds team, there are things that I'm like, let's get this would be so much fun. No, like, so I feel like if she lets something pass and they're out there all the time, then it's probably
Yeah, it's probably fine.
fine. Because, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we can look into that one. Southside Lions Park, we completed the shelter lighting just a few years ago. And the maintenance requests were the repair damaged fence along Sixth Street. Our maintenance team said that will be added to the list, and then the broken floor cap will be replaced soon. Maybe there's one
Yeah,
on
with the tree
the
fell on
shelter.
it.
Okay, yeah. And then we had the request about the pruned hanging limbs from several trees. Forestry said they'll inspect and create work orders as needed. Address the lighting issues. So I think what's going on is all the other lighting was older. It's controlled by Division of Power, and it's on a timer that we don't have anything to do with.
You talking about the park area lights? Or
Yeah.
underneath, yeah, because
Yeah.
I addressed the lighting problem we had underneath the shelter house, and that was just this simple thing, the timer,
Oh, okay.
power went off, the timer quit running, so it
Oh,
was out of sync.
okay,
Yeah, just
yeah,
needed to reset the time
okay,
on the timer, so it would
Okay.
come on, so
Yeah.
4 in the morning.
yeah,
Yeah, so,
yeah, so that one, they said, we control that one in-house.
mhm.
We can't do anything about it, and that's like on a photo cell, so we.
Yeah, now the park lights itself, every time I go by, they've been on, they've
Okay,
been working.
was it just that they weren't synced up on the timing? because it said that,
Well, I'm talking about the ones in the
Oh,
park
in the-
itself, that
okay,
is not controlled by the timer
Yeah.
that's in the shelter house.
okay,
So they've been coming on there, so I don't know what happened,
for a while that they were, yeah,
I don't know if the lines had
Yeah.
something done with it.
maybe this, whatever was this.
Yeah, you can,
utility
yeah,
pole.
it's the ones that's out by the basketball court and out by the shelter house to the right of all that stuff. You can see the poles there, but, you know, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, every time I went by, they've been working,
Okay, good,
so.
So if they're DPS, I guess we just open 311 tickets if they're not.
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah, or division of power, yeah, yeah. Coolest water and power.
Yeah.
Do we know if wood utility poles are still in?
Yes, they're still there.
Okay.
It was last night anyway. I figured the homeless would probably saw them up and use them for firewood or something.
Yeah,
Too much work to saw them up,
Fair enough.
carry them away.
If it was metal, they'd been gone.
then there was the request about adding tall fencing along the Hinkle Avenue and South
Yes,
Sixth Street
try to keep the
sides of the basketball court.
basketball from going out into
Yeah.
traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And, we can look into that. We also have, I don't know if any of you are connected to, I guess it might be the Lions.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, they do a lot of maintenance. there.
yeah, they just
Yeah.
gave a donation, or are giving a donation of.
Well, you know All Miller, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's part of the
Yeah.
Lions that takes care of it.
Yeah, yeah, he reached out to our building maintenance team
Yeah.
actually, and said they either have a donation or they put it in already $2,500, so that is, that can go toward whatever we end up doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they did get the bathroom keys to the folks, because the bathroom was always locked and
Oh, yeah,
whenever there was
okay.
an event,
yeah,
so that's all fixed now, so
Okay.
that's awesome.
okay, good, and it's working, okay, great,
I think they had to clean it out,
yeah,
like there was storage.
Yeah,
okay. Good. Southside Heritage Park, and this was just maintenance requests that I'm aware of. Refresh the basketball court lines, yes, looks like there are none. Remove and replace the 5 dead trees along the western perimeter, replace the missing bench for the basketball court. They,
I think there was missing a trash can there too, wasn't there?
Maybe, but there was another trash can right by it, so I think it was
Yeah.
fine.
I guess I incorrectly put the refreshing the basketball court lines, if it needs, I'll go out or have somebody go out and take a look at it, but if it needs like a full acrylic color coat, then we'll probably have to do this as, we'll fit it into a hard surface request, or, hard surface package, or we'll cover it under contingency for one of those projects. But the other 2 maintenance requests, the forestry said they'll inspect those trees and add into a future planting schedule. And, the missing bench was removed. We've had this happen at multiple parks where we get somebody like, the bench was stolen, and it turns out, and we go on a hunt, and then it's like, oh, they removed it to repair it.
Oh.
And it will be replaced, so.
They run over them at Carnes Park and destroy them.
Yeah, sometimes it's legitimate, but sometimes it turns out that we have it in our warehouse in for replacement.
Now, for lack of terms, the water park, the overflow,
The rain garden?
the rain garden, who is responsible for maintaining the weeds?
That is a good question. Sometimes it's us and sometimes it is public utilities, and I would need to see if it's like on their contract or not.
Cause it was pretty overwhelming.
Okay.
Those things are wonderful if they're maintained, but
Yeah.
when
To me,
they
it
go,
looks
they
like
turn
a good
into-
place for snakes.
Yeah.
and other animals that could harbor disease and so forth.
Yeah.
And as you see, it's got one all the way to the west side of the park and one on the east side of the park.
I would think this is DPU because this whole park was a project with them. It was before.
I say, wasn't this part of Blueprint
Yeah,
Columbus?
it was a blueprint project, so yes, we can find out.
We had them here, June?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Southwood Movers niche.
What to do with that park?
Yeah, so I would have also thought that the ball diamonds were obsolete.
Well, at one time, I worked with Rich Salmons at, Six,
Yeah,
which is now
yeah,
Salmons
Yeah.
Park. And that was actually our practice fields for the teams.
uh-huh.
Since it's Rich's death and the city taking over Salmons Park,
Mhm.
I do not believe they've been using those for the practice fields.
I was told, but need to dig into a little bit more by somebody in our sports division. Oh yeah, that's where Schiller practices. But what's happened is the fence, when we used, if you can see, I think this was there in July still, I think this happened last year.
Yeah, the fence was there.
Yeah,
The
it cuts
school-
right, the school put in the
Yeah,
fence.
but that's the school's property,
Yeah,
because there used to be another diamond up there and then
Yeah.
the playground stuff.
I mean, we were about to have this playground in our replacement schedule. It was like one of the last ones of this whole set.
Yeah.
And the fence went up and we're like, oh, well, now we're not gonna replace that playground because it's really behind school property
Yeah.
now. But that really cut into the outfield too.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you definitely made it a softball
yeah,
diamond instead of a baseball diamond.
yeah. So I'm checking in, I'll check into it a little bit more.
I don't
but
think it's
she
been
said Schiller.
drugged.
Was
I
that?
went dressed.
Yeah,
It don't look like it's been
Yeah.
dressed, drugged in quite a while.
I
And,
asked her-
it's some low spots, it's gonna need some top dressing, if they're gonna maintain it as
yeah,
a softball
if they're, right.
or little league baseball. Probably be going over the fence a lot.
Yeah,
But, yeah, like I said, it's, with what happened down at Seals, Salmons Park,
mhm,
I don't know, I've never seen anybody practice on it.
on this one anymore, yeah.
And I
Well-
think there for a while you could get a hold of City Park and put a time that, say you had your buddies wanting to
Mhm.
play out, and you could do that, so it's.
There was a kickball league a few years ago that was using
Right.
this. But yeah, just the other day, I was asking about it, and she said, oh yeah, Schiller still uses that, but I just need to verify it. So our
Okay.
parks maintenance team said, well, we don't maintain that because it's a sports program thing, so we do the mowing, we do the trash, but we don't do the,
Yeah,
you
'cause
know.
John Whitaker
Yeah.
usually
And also
also
the dressing of the field.
right, so
Yeah.
sports would, so it could just be one that has fallen a little bit through. If sports doesn't program it, but the rec center is, it could
Yeah.
just have fallen through the cracks a little bit, so I
Yeah.
need to dig in. I have been on a couple emails recently with, it's the, I wrote right there, Marion Village Garden Club.
Mhm.
They're interested in doing some landscape beds that wouldn't impact, it would be like back here, here, just to make this a little bit prettier, and it wouldn't impact if these are being used.
Right.
So we were supposed to have a site visit with them a week ago or so, and then I think somebody was out sick. But, yeah, so that would be one good thing. Are they involved in here at all? With
Marion Village?
The
Yeah,
garden club,
He's in Marion Village.
but not the garden
oh,
club.
not the garden.
It's
Okay.
new, actually, I
Oh,
think.
okay, okay,
Yeah, Schumacher has a new one if nobody's actually using the ball diamonds for recreation programs, for scheduled recreation
Right.
programs, then what happens to them?
Well, if we're
They go
not-
away,
if
or-
they really aren't being used, then we would eventually turn this into something. I mean, it would be
The field
nice
that
to
could
have
be used
some.
for like volleyball, or not volleyball, but soccer and things of that nature,
Lacrosse.
Yeah, it would probably be.
more green space.
It would probably, yeah, it would, because there's no park, because it's just on-street parking. I don't think they would, which is probably one of the reasons why sports hasn't been programming it anyway. They probably wouldn't turn it into like an actual multi-purpose field. It would probably be, do we think that there could be, kind of like a meandering path and more trees? If the south side is low on tree canopy, would this be a good space to do that?
Similar
That
to
would be kind
Farms.
of, yeah. so-
Farms has that
mhm.
walking path
yeah.
and trees.
Yeah, that would probably be more along the lines of what we would consider.
Yeah, that was kind of like what we were saying, like, if it's not gonna be ball
Yeah.
diamonds, then,
It should be something.
It should be
that other-
something, then.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but we weren't gonna say what it should be.
yeah,
That'll get you in trouble with the neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know Southside Thrive had asked about trees, more
Have
trees
they?
there.
Okay, yeah. I think that would be a great idea. I mean, that was the first thing that had come to mind to me. I was talking to a friend who lives right down here, and she was like, I don't feel like I see it programmed very often either, but that's what we need to dig into a little bit. Okay, Carnes Park. Whoops. Okay. So we had completed, the project we completed already was the basketball court resurfacing a few years ago. And I have a small version of these.
Yep. And there's the original when Parks and Rec
Really?
was down on
Yeah.
Greenlawn.
Really?
This is
How
the
did you get
original.
that copy?
We were, Edgewood helped write the grant with Children's Hospital
Oh.
to get that, I think it was like $175,000
Mhm.
used in the UIR programs
Oh,
to
yeah.
rehab Carnes Park, because it had the hurricane fence around that was 8-10 foot tall, and it was just, it looked more like a prison yard
Yeah.
than anything else at that time. And they went in, they had the old pavilion in there with the restrooms, that was a drug haven, they tore
Oh,
that
yeah,
down.
yeah.
It was,
Wow.
it was a hazard to the community.
Yeah.
Originally, so, it's, much better. I would like to see that pavilion go.
Really?
Yeah, it's damaged, they've tore up the brick and everything, there is so much graffiti, in the pavilion itself that, you wouldn't want your children to read what's in there. And there's a lot of drugs going on underneath there, because right after National Night Out, just a couple houses down on Champion, they had 2 SWAT teams there with a drug bust right catty corner on that park there on
Okay,
Champion. So
yeah.
there was 3 murders there on South Ohio, catty corner from that, just down from the apartments. There was a murder on Midoff just prior to that, and then just recently there was a murder on Champion and Freebus.
You know, at the same time, this neighborhood is gentrifying.
Mhm.
Because
It's
my
it
son
is.
lives his house
Right.
is 4 houses from this park, and I spent a lot of time there in the last.
But
2
there's
months.
still
There's
that
a lot more
problem.
people walking their dogs around there.
But
There's a lot,
that is true, but
lot more
but
houses have been fixed.
we still have to address the safety.
It's a mixed neighborhood, but it's definitely
But
gentrifying.
until, I mean, in less than 12 months, we've had those murders. And so, but, you know, if we're going to have drugs being dealt underneath the pavilion, they've put, I approached the city, and George Speaks, who's
Yeah.
the assistant director, he did get the security camera
I
and
thought I
lights up
saw
there,
that, yeah.
which has helped
Okay,
considerable, and we do need to have additional lighting there and security due to the problems there. And we want to keep it safe. We want it so that her son is living in a safe neighborhood, that when we go to the parks it's safe. But if they're, and for a while when George put those cameras out there and the lighting, it cut it down considerable, but now, since the daylight hours are shorter, the cameras or the lights aren't working as long, and the problem's developing. And it's a weather shelter where they can conduct their drugs. And I think if it was less lucrative for them to meet underneath, because it's dark, there's no lighting there either. So it's a nice sheltered, dark area where you can conduct your drugs. So if it was lighted, if the park was lighted more and there was more security, that would be great, because it's a wonderful park. Edgewood has the MOU to care for the flower beds and stuff there. And we've spent, and South Central Commons helps with that as well. We've had mulch donated and so forth. I mean, there is interest in caring for the park. And the other thing that we've noticed is that people are taking down the cables and driving and doing donuts and stuff on the grass.
Between the bollards, they're taking the
Yep, and they destroy the benches. So I mean, it's a beautiful park. And over the years, because here are the plans from 2007 where they rehabbed the park, and it's marvelous. It's just that somehow or another we need to be more aware of what we need to do to maintain the safety, and that the park doesn't get destroyed, because the pavilion, you can see the brick columns and so forth there. They've torn them apart, and the graffiti is nasty. I mean, I wouldn't want my children reading that.
I will say now we have like park design guidelines that we've developed, and those have that we don't have those anymore, for the very reason that we just can't keep them. It's so attractive to people to bash them up. So when we talk about new shelters places, we know it's just, you're either talking like a wood post or a steel post.
Something that's lighted so you can prevent the criminal activity, because prior to that there was the brick building that was there that had restrooms, and they were shooting up drugs. And so
it's clearly that shelter house is used though.
It's
also,
used,
not just for drugs. I mean, there's a lot of people that use it for communities.
But it'll be used more if we can get rid of the drugs, and if there's lighting there, then whoever is dealing in the illicit activities is not going to want to be seen. So somehow or another, I think what would help that park immensely would be lighting.
So I do have, I have the note about the
second shelter until we get the first one
fixed.
The first one working properly without being tore apart and graffiti on it. Let's hold off on the second shelter.
I'll say that it's not a huge space, and the second shelter sounds like it could be a good idea. The one thing we have to consider is like, we would then have stormwater requirements, and then so you would lose a little bit of green space for your stormwater too. So you lose like twice the amount of the shelter, so, but it can be on the list for sure. I want to address
I think the lack of signage though was a bigger problem, because nobody knew how to reserve it, so they were like camping on it, you know what I mean? It's like, I got here first, so it's mine.
Right, and that and we had a problem with that with National Night Out, where I was threatened with physical harm, and I had to call I called 911 and they sent out 3 cruisers.
Okay.
So there are people there in that neighborhood who feel that they own the park.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a great park. And they, since they had the UIR funds to fix it up in 2007, 2008, it's wonderful. It's just that we need to protect that park because people are driving up over the curbs and doing donuts in the yard and knocking the benches off. And so I love the park.
At the timber rail, so instead of the bollard and cable, we could do like a timber rail fence, something like that.
That's what Smith has, right?
Yeah, like what's
Timber,
the
Smith
front
has
or-
more like a split rail. This would be, I'm trying to think of, similar. It's like it's just instead of, isn't Smith kind of crisscross? Maybe we replaced the
Spray,
rail
you
with the
replaced
timber
it,
rail.
right, you did.
Okay, okay.
Cause it was falling
It
apart.
kept
and
falling,
everything.
yeah. Oh, and they kept pulling it apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right, okay. Yes, like Smith.
So yeah, if we
Yeah,
could,
Smith is the one that kind of looks like,
This would be like that.
that would
If
be,
we did something
that would be
like
great
that.
to keep.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's
The
kind of what we had in
vehicles-
mind.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a point in time where a vehicle is going to jump those low curbs and doing stupid things hurt a child out in the
Yeah.
green space. So if we could get more security lights
I can add those to the list
in
too.
that park to cut down, because the criminal
Oh, you did add
activity
that
is,
to the list,
is
yeah.
more at night.
Yeah,
When it gets after dusk, not so much in the morning, but that early nighttime. So if we can keep the vehicles off of the green space and create more security lighting, that might take care of the problem in the pavilion where they're destroying the pavilion if people can see what's going on underneath there.
It probably is one of our higher priority overall,
Okay.
I think just because of
Yeah.
the nature of
It's so
Yeah.
close.
what's been going on.
Well, and there's so much
Specifically.
rehabbing and remodeling going on in the
Yeah.
area. The apartments there on South Ohio and Thurman have been redone. Some of the homes are being redone. And since the park has been revitalized in those apartments, a lot of the homes in and around that area are now taking ownership. So it's looking nice. We just need to keep it, progressing in the right direction, and need that, for all of our parks, not only Carnes, but all of our parks need that.
This one though, I think has a higher rate of concern.
I can definitely, I mean, that's good to hear. I wonder how long your meeting goes.
We can stay here until 8 when the library closes.
Okay, alright.
Technically, our meeting goes till 7:30. We usually have a
Okay.
separate committee, but we're not gonna do it today
Okay.
anyway, so
I
you're
remember-
okay.
I'd have to
Alright.
step out.
Cassandra, just look at this. You gotta see that.
We like that for Carnes Park too.
Well, this is Carnes Park,
Right.
so.
Is that gonna be Carnes
This
Park?
is the, yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yippee! We'll get rid of those, that bed of thistles there. Oh my,
yeah.
Maybe that'll
that's a
actually
carpet.
help too, right?
I
I mean,
think that
anytime you have
should.
that
You
nicer
just need
things,
to
people feel like
remove
that.
those, yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
more of a hardscape surface rather than the
It's
soft wood
still,
chips?
it's still wood chips,
Is it?
yeah. it's
Somehow or
still wood
another,
chips.
we need to figure out how to keep the thistles out because
Yeah.
I mean,
They mentioned they sprayed in late summer.
I saw, and at one time, Edgewood has the MOU with that, and we were gonna spray, and they said, oh no, don't spray with
Oh,
the
yeah,
kids
you're
over
not.
here.
Yeah.
So,
We make our spray
When
with
is that,
Epsom
Laura?
salts, vinegar,
Should,
and dish soap. And it works not quite as well as
It
Roundup,
should be
but
done
it's
by
not
the end
toxic.
of summer.
no,
Yeah.
anything to
That's
get
what
rid of
we
those
use.
anything to get
So
rid of those
this
thistles,
is-
they're nasty.
The demolition, it could start like, we've got the equipment ordered, it's in contract, in a construction
This
contract.
is Carnes?
Yeah,
Thank you, wonderful.
yeah,
Appreciate
I don't
it.
remember
Yeah,
seeing
very
it on the
nice.
list.
It's nice.
Pat on the back.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The equipment's ordered.
I'm gonna check in with you over the weekend.
Okay, all right.
Go
Bye,
on,
everybody.
yeah.
Thanks.
But we
Thanks.
have two separate structures, this is the, so you see this is 5 to 12 age group. This is the 2 to 5, a climber, and many swings.
All right.
And what you don't see here, I guess you see one, don't you?
There are a lot of children in that apartment
Yeah.
building that's right across from the
there's-
park.
And hopefully we can get some of those apartment buildings renovated and stuff that are kind of dilapidated and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of a renovation in that area,
Yeah,
especially since, there has been interest in that area.
so yeah, I hope this
That's
is
awesome.
going to make, it should make a difference. And I'll also say that I need to look into the shelter reservation information sign. Park rules signage is installed at the playground path entrance, but that's not really the one you're talking about. And the parks team will look into locations to add plastic trash cans.
The reservation sign, Fairwood had one in their
Mhm.
shelter
Okay,
house,
Yeah,
and that's
so something like that.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
It had a QR code.
Okay,
I think part of the problem at Carnes is whatever was up there was up too high, like you couldn't get your phone up to it, you know?
Okay.
And plus, I think the one sign that had the rules and everything on is out by
Champion?
Champion,
Champion.
towards the, street by the playground, so when people, and it's small, and it's been bent and damaged, so it's hard to get that information.
and it definitely, I'll also check to see that it definitely is reservable, because we do have some open air shelters that aren't. that you can get into.
Yeah, ours,
Okay.
I had to reserve it for National
Okay,
Night
so
Out.
you know you can.
Yeah,
It's
and for
just-
the Easter
okay.
egg hunt.
I just think it's hard to come.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is difficult unless you're diligent and you know that you need to do those things, you don't do those
Yeah.
things. Because, I was preparing the park for National Night Out, I was picking up trash and so forth, and that's when I had to call the police because I was gonna get clocked. And 3 officers came, and then the officers didn't know what to do. They're like, what do we do? I said, just don't let them shoot me.
right.
You know?
Yeah,
That's all, you know.
it's a minor request.
Yeah, because they were upset that I was cleaning up the park and so forth. What are you doing here? And I'm like, getting ready for National Night Out.
Yeah. So Lincoln Park, we've had a lot of completed projects, not all ones that you can see. And that's where that's the kind of project I hate because that's, all the HVAC things are all.
That's important though,
But
because
it has to happen and.
we didn't have meetings there sometimes when
Yeah.
it got too hot.
Yeah,
And then the one time we did, they had the fans blowing. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so what we had the pool development and then we had the kitchen renovation a couple years ago. We had the gym LED lighting and rewiring. So that was a brand new new LED lighting in the gym. We had the HVAC mechanical upgrades and then the smart controls integration. Next thing, future, within this 6-year plan is the design and then the construction for the air conditioning. And I can't remember if any of the rooms are air conditioned now.
I don't think
Maybe
so.
there's a little bit air conditioned.
Not the
I think
meeting
it
rooms
seeps
that we're
in.
in.
No, not the meeting rooms, was something I thought.
It goes from
Yeah.
one room to the next through the
Yeah.
hallways. It's,
Okay, yeah,
basically what happens.
yeah,
It's a creeper air conditioning.
yeah. So that will be, that's in the 6-year, but that's like, it will be, with inflation, it's gonna be over $2 million. But the one we just recently did last year was a $2 million project, so we're knowing like it's at least that by the time we do. But some of the capital requests were benches and trash cans along the walking path and picnic tables near the basketball court. We can talk about those as we're talking about we have in design right now. Oops.
Yeah.
We have in design right now, a futsal / multi-purpose court that's out behind the center because they don't have much hard court space. And that was on the 2019 request, and that's something that the center managers have always been requesting.
Could you bring the map back up and
Yeah.
kind of point where you're, because there's so much space here and we were just not,
So
Sure, what
right
was
now,
what?
it's looking to be like right here, just kind of a continuation here, so that they can use this, a multi-purpose court over here. And then they've also, it's in design right now, it is in the CC plans are being, the stormwater plans are being reviewed, but a walking path to extend around here.
School used to be.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make sense to not have some.
Okay.
now
we
it's
weren't
just-
even sure if it was
Yeah.
part of the park,
It
honestly.
is, yeah, it
Right?
is.
Because
Yeah,
we're
I
like,
remember
well,
I looked when I got home, I was like, it is part of the park.
And so I can show you here, you can kind of see right here,
Okay.
the proposed, court, and then proposed path. Now, these little dots here around the path are their proposed lighting. It's too much lighting, it's too close, we couldn't even afford to pay for the utilities for this. So I've just asked the project manager to revisit that and see. I think it's gonna make it look like a runway, you know, with that much lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have that revised yet. I can't even imagine the cost.
This
It's
is the
going to
poles
be.
are like streetlights. I mean,
Would that
that's
be
a
a good
lot.
place for smart lighting though?
For what?
Smart lighting, as somebody walks by, comes on.
or
You
solar.
know, I think one of the things that we have not had good luck with solar. And we did a security assessment, here was one of the locations actually, we had a security consultant come, and they're saying solar technology still is not, if it's for security, don't go solar.
That's what we have at
Yeah.
Carnes now. They have the
Yeah.
police put in that security wagon there.
Yeah,
And now it's only got enough power to run the cameras and not the lights. So
okay.
before, when it was out there and it was lit up, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it cut down a lot of.
Well,
Oh,
especially
that's
when we're
insane. Yeah,
Days are
Well,
shorter and then
Yeah.
cold weather. sad
About, yeah.
days.
The energy.
Yeah,
Our
so-
little electric car is terrible now.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
disadvantage, just, it gets cold, they just can't carry it.
But at the same time, the security concerns go down in the winter too, I suspect.
That's true. I guess that's
at
how
least
I
we
look
hope.
at it.
Yeah.
So that is the plan for now. This is taking a lot longer than we anticipated this to, and we don't have an updated cost estimate for this. So that was one of the reasons that I was asking to send it back from maybe not, I mean, that's a lot of lighting.
Is this the place that had that little crane
Crane Grove?
grove right in the middle of it?
Yeah, like right around here. Yeah.
Is that a bird grove?
Crane family, the Crane family.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crane plastics.
Oh,
Yes,
crane
yeah.
plastic, I was gonna say, are we now into ecology and we're gonna have a bird
No.
sanctuary
No,
for our waterfowl?
they donate a lot for our urban forestry program, I think.
Because this could also use some, I mean, there's a lot of little trees, it
Yeah,
looks like,
it
that
could
are
use more
still
trees around the
growing.
walking path, yeah. So that's what I would like them to be able to, in this, I'm not seeing it, and that's, so we need to verify, but, I've asked for trees and benches. One of the things that we can do, when we pay a contractor to do trees, we pay like twice what our forestry team gets their tree contracts for, because they're like city scale. I mean, they're just doing so many more versus like one park contractor. So if we need to come in, do the path, lighting, and then we come back and do trees, that could be how we can afford to do that. But for sure, that was something we wanted to do here. And then Fairwood Park, we have the Fairwood Park improvements that were UIR funded. We have the maintenance requests that are, repair the damaged fence near the entrance of the park. Our maintenance team said this will be contracted out for repairs. And about the porta-johns, they said this was the same answer as with Smith. All park locations are being reviewed to revise the locations and the placements. And they said they will get a pup station installed. That's the dog station near the trail entrance off the back parking lot.
In mentioning porta potties, when we did the National Night Out at Carnes Park, one of the things that parks required or was considering requiring us to put in was, for the event, was porta potties.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's one more expense that we don't, that we have to cut out of our funding that we get from the city for the National Night Out.
Right.
And it seems redundant that there isn't some type of facility there, so that we don't get caught with the extra expense, whomever would be having the
Would
function
you
there.
want it? Because, I mean, that is, the porta potty, it can be
A drug shooting.
it can be a
I would
problem
prefer
too.
not.
Yeah.
I would just like for the city not to demand.
Require it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or that we have one for those functions, because they're basically only 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they're neighborhood people.
Yeah,
Like
they're
live
different
close
people.
enough, if you have to go to the bathroom, you go home.
Right.
Yeah, and the reason they took down that brick pavilion before was because everybody was going in
Yeah.
there in their restrooms and shooting up drugs.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have a nightmare, Southwood Park, we keep porta potties there, for the teams that was practicing.
Yeah.
And they was constantly being turned over
Yeah.
and everything else, it was an absolute nightmare.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love nice things, but if the community is going to
Right.
abuse it, I don't want my tax dollars used for something that's not being utilized in a manner that they're meant to be. I mean, I'm not gonna, say, here, destroy it.
Right.
I've got plenty of money.
Fairwood Park, so we have an active construction contract. What happened here is the city, building and zoning, we got into construction, and building and zoning realized we didn't have a site compliance plan for this. We've never just for an adding lighting project needed a site compliance plan in the past. So we had designed the lighting, we bid it for construction, and now we had to go back. And we just got the site compliance plan like a week or two ago, approved. Part of that is we have a public tree plan for any tree, trees on public property. You have to go through, and ourselves have to go through a process to make sure that if we're taking anything down or altered, like we're mitigating it either on site or paying into a tree fund. So the tree, they're meeting, this is to say that the contractor's meeting with our forestry team with the tree plan. Now that we have our site compliance plan, they're scheduling it, it should be within the next week or two, so that we can get mobilized for construction. I had sent an email that said, we have a guarantee we'll be done by October. And I'm like, it's
Frustrating.
really frustrating, but you know that it is happening. And so this is lighting along the park drive and lighting along this back loop. Because this really gets between the street, the lighting that will be on the park drive, and this, I think that's DPU, it's another city facility there. This will be lit enough, so it's really this and the drive. So that is that project. And then we also have done an ADA assessment, and we realized that there's a path to the shelter that doesn't let somebody in a wheelchair get up into the shelter. So that we need to address that too. That's a future project.
Mega concrete. Make a ramp.
Yeah. Deschler Park. I think Deschler is actually the last one on the list to talk about. I don't know why I chose to put the picture on the next page instead of this one. But we have had the UIRF funded park improvements, which that was before I started, but I think that was primarily the fitness stations. Maybe part of the walking path. And then just more recently, we had the park entry drive resurfacing, from, I don't remember which, from Berkeley. That was like steep and rutted, so we did a concrete apron into the parking lot there.
It says Carnes, but it's Deschler.
So this is the imagery that we pull from. It's not like I can go in and change this. It's like some Esri. And they've done this. We just noticed because they just released the 25 imagery. Things are all over weird places. It's really strange. Because I went through here and I'm like, shoot, I didn't put a Carnes picture there. No, that's not Carnes. Yeah.
Are those like orange lines, the boundaries of the park?
Yeah.
Or like the school owns the ball diamonds,
Yeah.
right?
So this one is, soon we can start design on the shelter. And one of the things is I want to get from you, how much community engagement do you feel we should do for this? And I've got a couple, we are in design on a shelter in the far west of Columbus, and what we did there was I brought a couple different shelter options to the meeting. They had a lot of people at their meeting because there was some other controversial thing on that night that I was like, at least it's not. But so they had 40 people there, and then we did a survey out on Nextdoor, and we got, they're a very active community, but we got, I don't know, 600, it was some crazy hundreds of responses about their playground colors and the shelter. And I couldn't believe that many people wanted to weigh in on those, but they did. So we could do a similar thing here. And you can tell me what things you don't, like which options you don't want to go into a community survey. This is a popular one for us, whether it's the wood or if we did, we did like the steel post style of it. We don't do the shingle roof as much. We would probably do like a standing seam metal roof that's either like a 100 green.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Or a black roof or a green one. Sometimes we do a brown standing seam that does look nice too. But so the Gothic arch is one style. Also, this is just a random size that's on the manufacturers. So this fits 8 tables. So our typical neighborhood park, community park shelter we're adding is usually like, put 4 tables underneath. So I think that's what's at Clarence. I think that would be
in my recommendation, I would make it as fireproof and damage resistant as possible.
Okay.
I mean, it only takes one idiot in the city the size of Columbus. There's probably more than one.
Well, I think we've got more than our share.
Yeah. So I would make it as durable as possible.
Something like this, but without the tiers, is really our parks maintenance team's preference from a durability standpoint. But some people, but also I'm putting this out here too, that we could look into something like this. With this, we just get bird nests
Yep.
here.
Yeah, and then you got bird's nests in your
Yeah.
You got a picnic and you got what in my food?
Yeah.
Is the idea that you get better ventilation if you have the open space? Like,
If you've got a
it's
peak.
cooler, you know, the
It's
heat
maybe
goes up
just
and,
decorative. I don't know.
I
That's a
don't-
good point.
unless it serves a function, I think
Yeah.
it's just extra work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will extra
Extra
cost, and
expense,
we
extra-
need to keep our
yeah.
taxes down, and with the peak, open peak, you're gonna get the airflow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't,
So,
unless you're gonna put ceiling fans in.
so something like this could be, is pretty standard for, like, it's what they like a green, here's a standing seam roof, and we would probably do black posts instead of brown posts. But yeah, this would be a style. This is
Fancy.
more like, I think Fairwood is like this a little bit. This
Too much
curve.
money.
Gold.
It looks nice,
Yeah.
but, you know, some, you know, in a community that is, more appreciative, that's great, I like it, I would want it, but,
I think functional is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, if you look at what's happened to Carnes Park and how they've damaged that, I mean,
There's
you want to be
this-
nice, but you don't want to throw away.
Yeah, yeah. This I don't think really goes with the feel, but I'm offering, okay.
No,
That'll burn to the ground.
we're not New England with covered bridges.
To say farm community.
We have this in our new, Flatwood Park, but that's out toward, it's Galloway, so it really fits there.
It's more rural.
Yeah, and then this is, a new shelter that is being, you can see that it's under construction still. This is over, in the hilltop at Hans Park. So this is a bit more of a modern look. Maybe the angle of this shot
Have a
isn't great,
windswept
but.
thing.
Yeah. So there's that style too.
Would that be more susceptible to high winds and so forth? Having the roof pitched up like that rather than,
I mean, that neighborhood is pretty traditional. I would think a more traditional style would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be afraid that, you know, with the weather that we're getting anymore, which is more unpredictable, it would look like something that could be
Yeah.
easily damaged and
Yeah.
have a lot of repairs in it.
The reason we went, I would say that this is extremely heavy duty, but the reason we went with it is the old shelter house there, was like kind of mid-century modern looking, and people liked that about it, and there were some, it just kept the feel. So that was the reason we went with that, but I mean, we can do it looks more like this, but it's a combination of
Yeah,
that and this. We could do that, and that is the easiest option to maintain and the easiest to.
what's the old term, Chris? Keep it simple,
it simple,
stupid.
yeah. So do you think that it needs community engagement, I guess is the question.
It's not my community, but I would
Yeah.
say not necessarily. We do have area commission on Tuesday, and Justin can give me some.
Yeah, could you find out, because I have met a few people years ago when we first had this on the list. I wanna say April Tisby,
April was the area commissioner at the
Okay.
time, but she's not now.
okay.
Maudie is.
And then there were about 3 people, and I'm forgetting the man's name at this point, but we met out at Driving Park Community Center, and they were really like bandstand, huge, but our special events team was saying, no, that's Fairwood. Like Fairwood is your regional park over there. That's where we want to drive more people to. Dashler, yes, definitely
It's
a
a
shelter.
satellite type
Yeah.
for family
Yeah.
picnics and things like
Yeah.
that.
One other thing that they said there's like Pee Wee football that
There is,
practices there
yeah.
too, right?
Here's your extra
Oh,
cards.
thank you.
Could I get one of those before
Sure.
we leave? I gotta go. My time is up.
Okay.
I'll get ready to
Thank you.
Yeah, we're wrapping up, I think.
we're done.
So when you place this shelter house, you know, given that they do use some of that green space, I guess. I mean, how do you decide where you're placing
Oh,
things? I'm just curious.
did I just show it? Take one of those and take a look There's that. If you go to this,
Thank you.
Here's that one. If you go back to the page that showed Joshua,
By the way, you're probably talking about Earl Littlefield. Earl's the president of the
Yes.
Civic.
yes, yeah. I mean, they wanted it.
And they meet,
and-
They meet tomorrow night, and I think that's it for the year anyway, is what Earl told me, because they have a zone.
Okay. So, to be clear on the timing, we have to go through a whole design process, go through the stormwater plans, I mean, it's a long process, and every project manager has at least 7. We're like, so I take on projects as the administrator, our other administrator of construction, he takes on design projects too, because we're that tight on project managers, so it's a little bit slow, but we will start we'll start design in 2026, and I think I've learned to not give definitely in construction by, because especially I don't want Mrs. Grace to come, like, she's been waiting a long time for it, and I just feel like I don't want to overpromise when we can do it. But we wouldn't, if we don't put them near a parking lot, then we have tons of available driving, so that's a consideration, like, just because people don't wanna carry their coolers over, so too bad that we put the fitness stations where we did, was my first thought, because that would have been a potentially good spot, probably somewhere here to the right of the playground, is where we would consider putting it, although we just need, kind of looks like there's a low spot right there, so part of the design process is, like, we have a topo survey, we have all this to determine what the drainage would need to be, but to me, they're near the playground so that you are using the shelter and your kids can, especially if you're reserving it for a birthday or something.
I wasn't sure if it would be there, because I get the proximity to parking, obviously, but,
Yeah.
Also, my suspicion with these ball diamonds is that there's a lot of overflow. Like, when my kid played ball, and my little girl would be on the playground, right? So
Yes.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. And
Basically, it boils down to human laziness, You're gonna have, if you don't put it where it's easy to access or use, then they're going to abuse and damage whatever it is.
yeah.
So it all boils down to 6 of one and a half dozen the other. Is it functional? Does it, meet the need of the facility you're putting in? And is it going to be used and not abused? I mean, so you don't want people driving all over your grass area and so forth and damaging that. We have that now at Carnes, where they're parking as many as 10 or 12 vehicles around the pavilion there. And and the police don't even approach them anymore to tell them to move it. It's because they can get on, they can access the
Right.
the green
We have
space.
to put a fortress up around
Yeah,
it to get
if they
there.
can't access the green space, then you don't need to worry about it, then you don't antagonize
Yeah.
everybody. And,
Yeah.
it's preventative is the best of medicine. I guess.
Yeah, right.
So,
I'll send you a link.
I can send these, since I didn't put it in the PowerPoint, our maintenance team's comments that I was just reading,
Oh,
that I was telling you,
Okay.
so that those can be shared out. But, let me know if you have
That's
other
excellent
questions.
work that you've done, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
thank you. The thing that we're concerned about there in the Carnes Park is that security issue. We love the idea that the Assistant Director Speaks put that security
Yes, yeah,
trailer there.
yeah.
But now, it needs something that depends more on solar charge.
Right.
May I have your attention, please?
Uh,
Library